Hey everybody, it's Old School Nerd. I had the honor and privilege of getting to sit down and talk to the man himself, Marko Hietala. From Finland. He's a Finnish icon, per se. He's pretty famous. He's done some pretty big things. From an old school, massive metal band that we all know, to being a member of one of the greatest symphonic metal bands of all time. His journey as a man, as a father, as a husband is a unique and incredible journey. And we've watched it unfold over the last few years. I had a chance to talk to him about that journey, who he is now, and what's to come with this new album. Now, before we hear my intro and then we get to that conversation, I do need to warn you. I had some very serious technical issues during this interview. And when I turned on the camera to speak to Marko, my computer had a major graphic problem. So I had to make a choice between either my camera looking good or Marko's camera looking good. Obviously, I picked Marko's camera to look fine. So I look digitized and ridiculous because I gave all the resources to him because he gave me his time, which I'm honored for that. And after this interview, let's do a reaction to one of his new songs. Here's my sit down with the amazing Marko, the man, the myth, and the legend that continues on. Hey, Marko. Hi. Sorry to call. Thank you for answering my call. There's this guy.
No worries.
Yeah, there's this guy. I think he's Finnish. He's got light hair with a light beard, and he's doing all these collaborations for like the last few months, just blowing everything up. And it looks like you, but I'm not sure it's you. Is that you, or is that some other guy?
On the screen, this is me.
What about the guy doing the crazy collabs the last few months?
Last few months. It might be me as well because I did do that Patty song. I'm with you. But that was already, I recorded it last spring and we shot the video at summertime. And by that time, we already had most of the album done. My own, that Roses from the Deep. We had almost everything done already. So there were only like cover thingies in the works. And
there was a guy that looks just like you singing a song with a bunch of guys in a studio. And he was wearing a Patty Gurdy shirt with a green hurdy-gurdy on. Yeah, I figured it was. How are you?
So you're talking. I'm pretty good actually, and this was also something. This Bearwood thingy where I'm with Patty Gurdy shirt.
Yes, it was.
Bearwood thingy. It's a guitar player's kind of songs, and his project that he put together from familiar musicians and all that, and he had idea to use some different musicians too, and maybe a different vocalist, but in the end we ended up doing everything together like with a band. I didn't have to write anything or plan anything. He had the lyrics and the songs.
You just had to show up. Just had to show up and look good.
Yeah, so that made it easier for me to just come by when we had like good time together to go over the songs and start recording.
I'm loving the creativity outlet you've been having here in the last year or so. We get these little wisps of Marko here and there, and all of a sudden, new album. Of course, it comes out in February 7th of 2025. And before we ask about the album, I told everybody, if I ever got a chance to talk to you, I wanted to tell you this.
Okay.
I grew up listening to metal. Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, the classics. Got away from metal most of my life.
That's my history also.
Yeah. We're only 8 years apart. We're very young. We're very young men. Both of us.
Yes.
We're very young.
Yes.
I don't understand what people are talking about, but I got away from metal music. I got into folk music and then funk music, and then I came back to metal in 2019. And I started this YouTube thing, and I've been exploring metal music because with the way the world is now, you could find music worldwide. You don't have to just sit with what's on the TV and stuff. And
everything is in your reach.
Yes, and which is a good thing. It's a great time to be a fan of metal. But I remember that when I started my YouTube channel, there's a particular band from Finland. You may have heard of them,
Ah.
and everyone has to do this band at least 5 to 10 times right when you start. And the fan base is just so intense, and it's been a wonderful ride. But there was one song in particular I did a reaction to, and it was you with a guitar, a double neck bass, guitar double neck in the center of the Tampere, and you're playing a song about an island and a guy and a boat, and I froze and I started crying, and I told everyone, I said, if I ever get to talk to Marko, I will tell him that right there is the warrior bard. That is one of the most beautiful, honest, heartfelt sounds of the folklore storyteller. The warrior that comes in around the fire, he starts telling a story and all the warriors gather around. Or if he goes home, he goes to the tavern, he starts telling his story and the village just gathers around him. That moment, just so hard. And I told everyone that if I ever got a chance to meet you, of everything I've seen you've done, and I've seen a lot, that was the one thing that just, for a person that loves folk music, the way you connected to people on a personal level and you shared that moment with them, I will never forget.
Thank you for that. I mean, I am pretty much what you see and hear. I might be impulsive and slightly wild now and then. Those are things that are useful for a guy at the front line of a rock and roll stage. And to me, doing shows live, connecting with people, like putting up this song and this vibe, connecting with people who get that vibe and start sending it over to you, it builds up this bubble where we all are in. And with Nightwish, that happened very much too, that we were all in it. We had a really great vibe, and we put the people there, they have a great vibe. And you start feeding it to each other in that bubble. And everybody goes away, whether you were on stage or whether you were in a crew or whether if you were in the audience, everybody goes away, ooh, great, fucking great. And you get grins on faces with everyone and all that. That's the thing that I'm hooked to.
Yeah.
I mean, I love writing. I love writing music. I love writing lyrics, love recording good stuff and hearing how everything builds up into the form it should. But then the live shows are straight emotional reactions from you to people and back and forth.
I just really enjoyed that, being in bands. You've been in so many bands, so many projects, like Tarot and, of course, Nightwish. Mm-hmm. Those bands have fan bases, people that are like a community. They're like a family, and they go on with it. And it's so big. I've never seen you do anything small until that moment. And to see it become personal, and that's why I mention it also, is because this album, and I got a chance to preview it. I'm very fortunate. Of course, we've all seen Frankenstein's Wife. We've seen Left on Mars. I got to check out the rest of the songs. I'm so blessed for that.
Okay.
This is really a personal
Sounds like you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Sounds like you enjoyed it.
Led Zeppelin 3 level. Your storytelling, it reminds me of like a Led Zeppelin 3 or a reminiscent. There's some stories in here, and I want to talk to you about your storytelling in this album.
And you are right about that, because that is something that I really want to do. Like write something that at least has the story to me and put it out there so that it fits into a song and a melody and the sound and the overall experience. And also, because I like to do that, it's made me into someone who really looks at the words, looks at the lyrics, what I'm singing, and where I find like a good points of where to put some pressure or punch and all that, and tell that story out to those who hear it. Uh, yeah, and it's something that comes over to playing as well, and playing with a group with all good friends and same kind of influences, and also a lot of musical variety. You build up a groove and a vibe,
Yeah. It's
which and it isn't just on a computer grid, just timed and placed exactly right with players or syllables or lyrics or something like that. You build up a whole combination of things.
I heard in a lot of these songs, and those of you who please check out this album. Okay, if you're seeing this
Okay,
video
I
now,
agree.
you need to pre-save it already, because when it comes out, you're gonna see what he's talking about. This story as it unfolds, and there are songs on this album, and I'm just gonna throw one out. Just I'm not
Mhm.
gonna say what it's about, but it's over 8 minutes long, and it's the dragon must die, and it starts off as a percussionist. I play cajon and djembe and doumbeks and
Okay.
congas, and I love hand percussion. This song starts, and I'm like, it's all this buildup of percussion, and then this. By the time you get to the end of the song, it goes through so many iterations. I feel like I've stepped off into a Rush album where let's just do 8 to 10 minutes of just this crazy roller coaster storytelling that starts acoustic, as simple as possible, takes us into the realms of electronic to back towards an analog feel, but at the same time, the story just develops. And I'm seeing throughout the album, every song, some are very personal in the way they approach
Mhm. Yeah.
simplistic songs. Some I get lost, I got to go listen to them again. Like Dragon Must Die, I had to listen to it again to see how many layers of
Yeah.
musical storytelling you're putting in behind you. That was an effort. Talk about some of the
Yeah.
different options you had, and you went all over the place with this.
Yeah. I mean, lyrically, Dragon Must Die is kind of even smaller than the whole musical thing. But we're talking about a very many-headed monster there,
Yeah.
um, which is, of course, it's pretty easy to go through that symbolism, which is there, yeah, about any kind of ideology, political view,
Mm-hmm.
uh, the religion, whatever, that all of these which are twisting the truths, lying outright and putting out conspiracy theories from here and there. And all of these things still have one common goal. Can we have your money?
I thought it was can we all get along, but apparently you are right. It's
Mm. So these kind of views, whether it's political, religious, ideological, whatever, uh, they're so full of bullshit, self-serving bullshit. Yeah, I see it as a many-headed dragon, and we should cut their heads off.
my favorite part about it is you're so far into the game like me. We're old enough to where we can just say it like it is. We're not trying to
Mhm.
impress anybody. We're just going to be honest, and it comes from the heart. And if you accept it and it means something to you, great, take it along. If it's not for you and
Yeah,
you don't like it, give
I
it
mean,
time.
yeah, I mean, Western democracy. It's of course it's a great idea, and it was great that such a thing came to be. But there's also been quite a few decades, even centuries, that some have existed. It is very much time enough
Yeah.
for those people who have learned how to use the system to insert themselves there, stay there, and also raise some hairs too.
Yeah, and even when they're gone, they're still there. That
Mm.
that the echo of that still remains. It's very
Yeah.
unnerving. Um, the album cover is actually between us on the screen. So during the interview,
Okay.
people will see the album cover, and I thought the album cover was very, very interesting because of its symbolism. And see if I'm right on this. There's
Mm.
the bottom half of your head. It's in black and
Yeah.
white. It's old. It's grainy. It looks aged. But then halfway through, from the ears above, there is this explosion of color, ideas, dragons, clouds, flowers, the universe. Is that a symbolistic image of people may think of you in one way, but in here, let Marco just show you everything he has going on? It looks like it's an
Yeah,
explosion of Marco.
it is that. I mean, at first, Roses from the Deep, it was a title for the song, which obviously, when you listen to it, is a romantic ghost story. But then, thinking about it as an album title, I wasn't sure, but I was also tempted. And then a couple of other people came, also one from record company, from one from band. This might be a good album title. So I was more certified then, because then as a cover, it goes into more like symbolism of the outer appearance of a man and then hugely overclocked imagination.
Yeah. You said
And
it
that
better.
is that is
Yeah, you said
that
it
is
better.
pretty much what I that is pretty much what I feel I am.
You are. My favorite part is you are one of the stalwart eldermen of metal, especially in
Thank you.
Finland, because you've
Yeah,
been in, you with tarot and of course in Nightwish. People have these preconceived notions as to who you are as the man, Marco the father, Marco the husband, the man. You
yeah,
continue to develop, and with age comes experience and wisdom, but yet the ideas keep coming. And even though when you stepped away from the public realm for a while and everyone understood, man, we felt so many of us, our struggles are of course different than someone else's. We all have our individual things, but to see that and go, you know what? He's making the best choice for himself. And I remember when you sent out that message to everyone saying, I'm not saying I'm gone forever. I just need time and let's see what happens next. When you first started to dabble and we started seeing little wisps of Marco creativity, whether it be a TV appearance or a concert appearance or a special appearance, it it made us all think, he's healing. He's doing what he's, and it made us go, you know what? Sometimes I just want to run. Sometimes I just want to hide. Sometimes I feel like I can't deal with it. But well, no, I can. I could take a chance here. I could take a chance here, and then when I'm ready, the roses from
yep.
the deep. And I'm not gonna lie. I watched you on that TV show where you're in that outfit. I did. I watched it. I don't speak Finnish. I'm American, but it was so beautiful. I couldn't help myself. I thought it was awesome, and to see that smiling face when that hood came off, that thing you were wearing came off, and I saw that smiling face, and I went, "There he is," and I was so pumped. So how
Yeah.
how how are you today? How is Marco feeling today?
Today, probably better than in the 10 years past. Because when I went away from everything, it was to find out what's wrong. That why do my depression and anxiety get worse and worse and worse? Trying out billions of different meds and all that, until one of the new people that I talked to, a psychiatrist, suggested that it could be that when I'm listening to you speak, it could be ADHD. You need to have a neuropsychological test. Then to me, the connection was vague at the time. But then I started to read on it and it started to click. And I went to the tests and they found it. Because the depression and anxiety, they're very common side effects of ADHD. You've been feeling slightly alienated for all your life because there's a way more people that you cannot connect than that there is. And you felt yourself different and you belong into a species that has a very strong social and tribal like
Instinct?
needs and connections, and being outside of it is apparently something that makes a lot of ADHD people depressed and anxious, because you feel that there's always something wrong with you compared to the others.
Yeah.
And so, in the end, finding out that I had it gave me a chance to kind of forgive myself with the things that I had screwed up. And also, yeah, forgive people in my past who didn't understand the things and ended up understanding things their way totally wrong. And I lost a lot of friends with the darkest times because they that kind of thoughts. And when black and wrong things take a hold of your imagination, you become angry and sad.
Yeah.
And nobody likes to be around that kind of person for long,
No.
except apparently my wife. I cannot thank her enough.
Well, you know what? Whether you believe in him or not, God will send an angel. And sometimes in the vastness of the universe, there is the person that has just the amount of light to counteract the amount of dark that you have. And she's obviously your light, because you speak
Mm,
of her as that lighthouse in the distance. If you're the man in that boat out on the ocean, and she was that
yeah,
light to make sure you didn't hit the rocks, she's your lighthouse. She's your angel, and we love those women. I have one myself.
yeah.
I am
Well,
blessed for one of those. Oh, I think for gentlemen like us who were born when we were born, when the complexities of the human psyche, the mind, and the heart were still unknown, they were just guessing. To
mm,
see that now we look back and we struggle through things that we had no idea that there was something that we should have addressed, because the heart is a very complex thing, the soul
yeah.
is a very complex thing, and then the mind is just as complex. So you could literally have three forces that you don't understand pulling you in every different direction and putting you in positions that you don't know where to be, and you have to find that balance. You have to get help. Some of it, I know I needed help.
Mm.
Obviously, you found a place where you find that balance and that joy again, and we are so blessed to have you back. And I'm so glad you're back. But it is a journey;
Uh,
it never
I am
stops.
I am really happy I'm here myself because yeah, it really did make me think that my life is it really worth living? Is it if it's this painful? And without having those like close people, my sons, my wife, uh, I'll never know, which is a good thing. But I might have just walked off into the darkness on the thin ice of autumn and just disappeared. That was the that was a thought I had a few times.
Yeah. So to not, because we can self reflect, you and I, for all afternoon, which we cannot do, because
Uh-huh.
we do have to talk about an album a little bit. So there are
Yeah.
ten tracks. We've talked about Frankenstein's Wife, Left on Mars. We've seen. We talked about Dragon Must Die. Of course, Roses from the Deep. Is there any particular track that is different, or something that you want people to maybe look for a special reason? I always ask some people go, well, every track is special to me. I get that. They're on your album. But is
Yeah.
there any particular track that fans may not understand unless they hear a certain word from you about it?
Um, there is this one of the shortest pieces on the album, and lyrics are full of pretty masculine, strength in their way. But there's also very heavy undercurrent there where you shouldn't take yourself for granted. Everything you are and think can and will be challenged. And are you up to seeing things in another way, in a way that is more enlightened, based on wisdom and knowledge? That would be Rebel of the North.
I was wondering, it was either going to be two soldiers, like two opposites were conversing, but when I saw Rebel of the North, I almost asked you, are you the Rebel of the North? Because, seems like you always walk your own path, which has always been my favorite part.
I relate.
You
I,
relate?
I relate. Yeah, I relate. It could be me, but also, yeah, it could be anybody else also who put some time in order to not make the way of the world you more cynical than you already are. or if you get more cynical, you also have to be more open to the stuff where you use that cynicism. You got to keep the balance
Yeah.
on the side of positives, a stagnation, being jaded about your things. That's not the way.
No.
And one of the secrets of my survival, we've talked about getting older, getting knowledge, building wisdom out of the things we know and all that. But there is also one very essential thing. It's the inner boy,
Huh.
which also stayed alive through the hard times and is very much there still. So that's where you get the impulses and strength and courage to go over some new things too.
I still have things from my childhood behind me to remind me to never get too lost in the fact that I might be physically getting older, to remember the heart of the child within me. The album comes out February the 7th, and I know that our time is now very much over because you have to take a break for your next interview. Before you go, what else can we expect out of 2025? I know there's a tour with someone very special, a very close friend of yours. What else can we look forward to?
In 2025, well, you were hinting already the tour that we're going to be putting together with Tarja again and have both of our bands play there. And then we'll end up doing a couple of nice duets too. So that's going to happen. Festival summer. Also plans to sit down with the Tarot Boys on the weekdays to look over some songs. And yeah, basically the next year is mostly probably touring.
Oh.
And going at that with my band and with the solo album material and all that.
So you would say that this year will probably be your biggest touring year you've had since in quite a while.
Since quite a while, yeah. We'll have to go back some years and start calculating.
Yeah.
Don't want to do that.
Marko, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your journey.
Hey.
What?
Wait.
What?
I did remember something. I did mention there are also a couple of new songs in the works already, even though the album isn't out.
Oh.
And I'm pretty sure that they're going to be good ones. So continue.
Oh, eyes are out. And remember, if it's something you put out, before I see it, I usually have 10 to 20 people going, "Oh my God, did you hear about the new Marko?" I'm like, "Yeah, thanks." Look, you're the community that has started way back when you first started is still alive and well, and those little birds tell me everything before I can even see it. Marko, thank you so much for your time.
It's a good thing. Thank you.
For your journey, for your wisdom, and sharing your art and your soul with us. Continued blessings on your health, on the wonderful family, and the safety on the coming tour and the album release. We're so excited for you. Thank you so very much.
Hey, thank you for all that. There was a lot of really good wishes for me. Well, and I might need them to come through. So thank you very, very much.
Hey,
at the moment, I really have not that much to give you back, but very happy holidays and great year 2025.
Thank you very much, sir. All right, everybody. We just talked to the man, the myth, the legend. Now, well, the video that we were just talking about, one of the videos that really is important on this album, the video's out. We get to enjoy it now. Let's see what the hell he's talking about. Marko, Rebel of the North.
I'm a human male, an ape with an ego. Let me see that mirror and don't spare the shame. Why am a fortress founded with the strength of lies? Wake me up, my children, you know the rebel never dies. start. Red hand machine turns to Roman written part. Your shrapnel of the real one straight between the eyes. You're not afraid, my children, you know the rebel never dies. The rebel never dies. The rebel never dies. The rebel never dies.
Okay, so I just want to say that the entire conversation him and I just had totally makes sense now. Right? Okay, so I said everything I wanted to say to the guy because he's inspired me the last 3 years. Not only with his musicianship, the connection he had with the audience, we talked about that, but also the fact that he realized that he needed to make a change. And then he went out there and he did it. Not only for himself, but for his family and for his fans. And now it's all anew. It's a completely different guy. And the song kind of echoes it. We're watching the first part of this video, reading these lyrics as he's singing them going, wow, you know, we could have not even had the whole interview and just watched this video. Same thing. That's how you know he's telling the truth. Because the story's the same. Whether it be in musical form or the tale he just told us about how it's really hard to be who we are these days. And sometimes you got to make a change. Sometimes you got to make a decision. Sometimes you got to step away from where you think you have to be to go where you need to be. It's the story of Marko. That, and, you know, this is literally like Finnish AC/DC to me. Right? You know? Balls to the walls. Who gives a crap? This is just the way it is. And if you don't like it, right? Have a drink on me. Never mind.
I need a challenger to bring me down and fight me. If I claim authority, that's where I go wrong. But if you get high ideas, then you can try and bite me. Claim that authority and we won't get along. Get out of my soul!
I'm sorry. 1 second, Marko. I got one of those too. I just can't play it at all. I got one too. I got one just like it. But I can't play it. Like, well, there's two reasons. Number one, I don't know how to play guitar. And it's left-handed. So even if I knew how to play guitar, there's no chance. Just saying. Your guys is better. So far, this entire video, Marko's just done everything better than me. His camera was way better than mine. His preparation for the interview, but we already knew that. His guitarist is well, yeah, obviously. Yeah, that's really the only thing I have in common. And mine's left-handed. Damn.
I'm from the north, you came out of the south. So what? Who we are comes out of one's mouth. With bullets of information, future will rise. Word for blame and children, you know. The rebel never dies. Renegades and mind grenades don't need a disguise.
I don't think anybody has more of a, are you paying attention? That stare that he does, the way he looks at the camera, the smile. He has one of the most wicked smiles in metal and rock to me, but yet he's just this, I mean, come on. I mean, look at the guy. You absolutely wish you wish he was your granddad, but at the same time, you're like, whoa. All right, so there you go. My sit-down interview with Marko and one of the videos we talked about, Rebel of the North. Before I go, I do want to apologize again for that slight camera mishap during the interview. I had to make a decision. Either my camera was going to look like crap or Marko's camera was going to look like crap. I think I made the right decision. Yeah, I made the right decision. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed that. Hey. All of Marko's information about the new album is in the description below. What are you waiting for? If you haven't pre-ordered it, you need to. If you're seeing this now and the album's out because you're getting to this late, why haven't you? This is the questions I'm asking. I mean, also, does this one kind of feel a little bit more tarot vibes? Like OG Marko back to his roots? I mean, I think so. But I'm wrong about a lot of stuff. So with that, everyone, do me a favor. If you enjoyed this video,
and put a like.
Please, thank you. And for those who sat through the whole interview and then joined me for this, thank you for spending your time. I want everyone to have a wonderful day. And with that, thank you, Marko. Blessings to you and your family. And have an amazing 2025. Thank you, brother. Thanks for watching, everybody. And if you enjoyed this video, give us a like. It really helps the channel grow. Also, if you want to subscribe, right over there. A big thank you to all my Patreons out there for everything you do. And if you want more content like this, check them out above. Remember, love one another, take care of each other. We're all stuck on this mud ball together. We'll see you later.